Thank you. I don't have I should have put it on there listening to Coach talk. I don't have a bio slide. I'll just verbally tell you a little bit about myself. Spent the past couple years at Carthage. Got there in the August of 2020. Before that, I was at Eastern Oregon University on the west side. That's where I played. That's an NAIA school. Spent a couple years over there. Started with the offensive line, moved to tight ends, and then moved over to the defensive line. Was able to spend a season in 2019 as the defensive coordinator, and then got an opportunity to come into the Midwest, come out here. So, I had no idea any of the guys on those slides because not familiar with the Midwest yet as much as I probably should be. But I appreciate Coach reaching out and letting me come here and talk. Like you said, it's a little different. We're going to talk defensive line play and specifically the run game, right? You got to be able to shut your guys' run games down before we get before we earn the right to be able to pass rush, which everybody likes to talk about. But I'm gonna get into some just real quick some of our D-line play here. Let's see if this stuff works. Introduction, we're going to talk a little bit about the stance. I talk a lot about formation ID. Obviously, it sets the strength of our front, but also for our edge guys, where's the running back at in relationship to what they need to accomplish during the play. We have in the run game, we talk about takeoff versus get off. So we're trying to take off. We lower and we'll talk about stance here again. And then we'll talk about our hand landmark, where we want our hands and our eyes, and then block the feet into more of the spread offense stuff here, and then the outside gap security real short about what we talk to our ends about how they're supposed to play versus the relationship, like I said, to the running back here. First thing is our stance. These are a couple D tackles for us right here. We see their stance are a little bit wider. We got their hips are more flat than above their head. We want to fire out right here, okay? We want to be powerful in the lower body because ultimately in the run game, we got to get to our gap. We got to maintain gap control. We talk about that a lot in our defense. We have to be able to clear the picture up for the linebackers, and when we get into 12-piece stuff, that safety, that's got to come down and fit into the box. Again, we're looking to fire out. We're heavy on our hand right here, and when we focus, our eyes need to be on that knee to hip area based on where they're at, right? We tilt our defensive ends. They're 5 tilts right there. So they'll trigger on that knee hip area as they fire off the ball. Our D tackles are looking at the football in relationship to where they're playing a 1, 3, or 5 or 2-eye or whatever. So stance right here. You gotta fast forward this a little bit. This is I film these guys, make sure that they understand they got these cones right here. Okay? This is where their feet need to be. We got to get our steps in the dirt. You guys know low man wins, fast man wins off the ball. So we go through this, and these guys need to hit their feet right on these cone landmarks right here as they fire out, and we're shooting our hands. I've got a lot of young guys right here that we've got to bring along, and sometimes, like Coach was saying, they're not going to ask questions. So I've got to force them to do what I need them to do without them asking questions, because they're not going to ask that at practice, right? Especially at practice. So we film this. I'll put notes on here for them, send this out to the guys, and again, that's looking a little bit of our stance and our takeoff right there, just out of the chute. So formation ID. What's my job? A D tackle's inside. Am I going to get a one-on-one or a double team right here? One-on-one, obviously, I need to maintain my gap, or if I do lose, where you're going to lose. Guys are going to lose, right? So we have a drill we do called disadvantage drill to try to get back into our gap right here. Double team drill. We talk a lot about visual key and pressure key. Visual key is my man. We line up with our man hand down. That's my technique hand. If I'm in a 2-eye right here, I have my inside eye of the guard hand down right there. D ends, we do a lot of offensive tackle hip reads during practice with these guys, okay? The most common things that you'll see in your talk about when you go through spread systems are they a shuffle player? Do they have the outside zone or the quarterback as he keeps the ball and runs the outside? Or is he a dive player? Is he going to run the heel lines? Is he going to go take the running back? Is he going to take the space out of that and run the heel lines or set the edge? You know, if the tight end or offensive tackle blocks out on me, we'll see a picture here. We face some teams that run that 12P stuff. So they'll just wall the backside defensive end out, especially if he's a speed guy, and just make him run the arc. Just make it harder for him to get involved in the play. And especially if some teams get in the same side handoff business, right? I don't know if you've encountered any of that, but we do. So right here, formation ID. Where's the running back at? You see this guy? Okay, traditional inside zone. If they're running inside zone or something to the left with this little wham guy coming back to the right, okay, we've got to know where the running back is at this defensive end position because we're thinking I got to go through, we'll get to this at the very end, but my 1-5-3-5 progression. Okay, my 1-5-3-5. What's my job? And that goes back to, am I that shuffle player or am I that dive player? Do you have a question?
Yeah, so you have your D-ends reading hip for your interior tackles. What is their visual key?
Sorry, say that one more time.
So you got your D-ends reading hip of the tackle, right?
Yeah.
So what is the visual key for your interior tackle?
For the interior guys, yeah, they're going to be either, so this dude right here, this is the center. He needs to be watching the football. He's the closest to the football. His eyes are going to be on the ball. Right now, my entire room has not earned the right to watch the man across from them. We're in spring ball right now. We've jumped off sides at least once every practice. Guys in our conference that played us last year know that that was an issue, so I have to address it as their coach, or I'm just allowing it. They've got to watch the stinking football. The quarterback has nothing interesting for us to say. That's not our job. We never will start a football play, right? So they've got to watch the football right now. But the closest interior tackle, so we call this a 2-eye right here. If he's either a 1 or a 2, he's going to be watching the football. That's my quickest trigger point right there. If I'm playing this 3 technique, we're going to be watching his midline always that hips. That's going to be the first thing to move, right? Whether I'm setting back or whether I'm stepping, wherever I'm going as an offensive lineman, okay, it's going to start with the midline right there. Is that your question?
Yeah.
Perfect. So, and we'll see this clip again, but we're thinking double teams. Why is it important? When you see these 3 box linebackers, we're going to get double teams at the point of contact. We need to figure out when that's coming so I know how to defeat it. All right, and we talk again a lot about formation ID when we get into the season here. So what do we got? Okay, so if I'm away from the running back, that was kind of to the running back side. If I'm away from the running back, the DN, I'm going to be setting the edge. Okay, that action's coming to me right here. I've got to get a big inside hand, inside foot. We call it our power step to the crotch. Or if I'm, like I just said, a D tackle inside, am I getting that one-on-one block front side because I'm a 3 technique? Or am I getting there from an inside? Am I getting that double team right at the point of contact? And again, we talk visual key and pressure key every time right here. All right, so now again, where's the running back at? This action is coming to me right here. This is what we're talking about, this backside tackle. He still has to set the edge because they may be pushing it same side handoff, and this is their point of contact. We don't know as a defense, right? So we've got to make sure that they understand their full operation right here. So front side, I get this double team. We work double team split. We'll see this here in a minute. Double team drill, double team drill. So not only do our D tackles have to defeat double teams, like I said, this is 2 tight ends right here. When we get teams that have that 12 personnel stuff, we'll heavy double team drill our defensive ends right here to split this and be able to set the edge. So again, just another opportunity to look at formation, recognition, whatever that word is right here. All right. So our takeoff, that's going to work out of our 4.6-point strike. We've probably all seen this. 4 points. We're going to trigger our hands. Boom. We always work half man. We'll do this on the sled. And then they'll get some weight on their hands, curl their toes right here, and they'll fire out. We're looking for good body lean. Okay, we'll load that up into their stance and their takeoff and all that stuff, right? So we get that going on the sled. That's one of our rotating everyday drills. Again, landmarks, we talk half man, always. Always, right? I heard a D-line coach, he even cuts it down into a third of a man for those D-ends. I got to attack a third of a man because if we're skating to the hip, I mean, this is about as much as we need to contact. Once we get our outside arm in there, it's just like trying to go up to a combo as no lineman. I go right here and the linebacker's right off my hip, right? Same thing with the D-end. If I get two hands in right here, they're going to cross over, and then shit, I got to try to change directions, but I have to open my hips back up, right? I've just wasted a bunch of time. So half man to a third of a man always. Again, you know, all this stuff right here is not, I didn't invent any of this stuff. Like I just said, that was from Coach Robinson. Listening to him do some talks, he talks about a third of a man. And then progression. All this stuff right here from our 4.6 point strike, I'm a big progression guy. You got to establish muscle memory. You got to establish a foot pattern. You got to be able to rely on that muscle memory when it gets down and gets dirty here in the trenches. So our inside hand, our down hand is always to the sternum. That's how we try to accomplish that half man. That hand, boom, has got to come straight up, get to the sternum right now, and our outside hand is our lever. Okay, that's the one that's going to drive a lot of our action right here. Whether or not I'm going to be aggressive to turn his shoulders and rip through, or if I'm going to club this thing down, whatever it is, that's our lever hand. How we create leverage, especially when we're trying to get create some space in that run game. All right, and this is a little look here now at hand placement. So you see his butt is kind of in line with the head right there, slightly lower because this guy's taking off. He's got his inside hand right here to sternum, outside hand to that shoulder. He's using that lever, and then you see him extend, drive, bring his hips, and create that space right there to be able to secure and play at the heels of the O-line. All right, so this is what I'm talking about. This is from spring ball here. It's one of my older guys inside. He's doing a good job of taking carryover from our drill right here, which is obviously something that we always want to see as coaches. We're not just sitting there banging our heads against the wall. It's actually carrying over. So this is, I had to throw a little film in here just to try to get some of this other stuff. And this is where we're looking for a takeoff right here with our big D tackle. So this is, it's translating to the game. He's taking his steps, boom. Okay, he gets a little knocked off his path right here. But again, he sets his feet, he works with his hands, and gets back involved. So takeoff. We'd like to see a little more knockback from this guy. But again, this is something new for our defensive lineman, is getting this knockback. But he's got good extension, and he's working with this lever. You see the lever right here. He's working this lever again. You see it working, okay? So he's doing a good job here of eating up that double team, shutting things down at the line of scrimmage. Block defeat. A lot of stuff on this slide right here. All right, types of blocks we're going to see is a front side double team, backside double teams. Okay, and these are the most common techniques that we'll see those at. One-on-one front side blocks, like I alluded to earlier. 3 technique, 5 technique. Okay, if I'm a backside, if I'm a 2-eye, I might get a one-on-one block with that guard. Okay, and then again, did we win that rep or did we lose that rep? Can't always live in that perfect world of winning every single rep. They have to have a route for escaping, right? So we don't like to train losing, but we've got to train those positions in order to get out of them if they ever do so occur. Okay, and then right here you see a couple front side. Running back, he's coming across right here. I'm eating this double team. I've got to look to extend half man, and I want to rip through with my inside arm right here. This is always my pressure key. I cannot touch my pressure key. I got to feel pressure. Talking about feeling pressure, this is my visual key. Versus this backside double team right here. Okay, now I'm a 3 technique backside, same side as the running back. This tackle's coming down to pin my hip right here again. I got to throw my hip into this deal, look to extend, snatch and rip through. Okay, so backside, front side double teams. This could also be a possibility if he's playing this 1 technique spot, backside 1 tech right here. Okay, this is a little look at how this should look. That's our double team. Oh my goodness. Okay, this is our double team drill. This is a kid. He's pretty, he's not the biggest kid right here, but he's doing a good job right now of being able to get his hands to the inside. Sorry about this. This is, huddle remote's new for me. Okay, he's doing a good job of shooting his hands half man right here. You see him fire off the ball. He gets his feet in the dirt. All right, I like to see him extend a little bit more. Extend a little bit more right here. But he goes ahead and he rips through and he squares back up. He's going to square back up and then be able to go ahead and get himself a little bit of this run play as the DN goes ahead and misses right here. So again, looking to get low, looking to grab on. We want to grab on, get our hips low, boom, shoot back through, and then go chase the play right there. Be able to make a great play. Being in double team is a tough thing to do, right? Typically, these guys are going to outweigh me by double right here. So he's doing a great job of playing low, playing with leverage, and escaping at the end right here. You see he's got to square back up. That's the biggest thing is we got to get these guys to square back up to the line of scrimmage to play the heel lines. Okay, this is the backside right here. Again, we're looking at backside of double team drill. Slipping through right here, and he's ripping back up. You see him rip back up, this 3 technique right here. Okay? He's going to rip back up as he comes through. This is a good job playing flexible. He's avoiding this first block, bending back into it. All right? Not everything's always going to come with aggression sometimes. Got to be able to play loose and limber and go in here and make a great play. Okay, this is a good job by the 3 technique. Again, you see him rip back up. We call that prying open right there. We want to pry this deal back up right there, get my hips back square so I'm able to make this play and pursue down the line. So a backside double team. All right here, common. I know this is hard to see right here, but we're looking at this guy right here. The running back is coming to him, one-on-one position, okay? This guard looks like he's got to get up to this linebacker. He's checking, he's going. We've got to be better with our hands. We've got to be a little bit lower right here and go ahead, win this rep, and get on to the heel lines again of the offensive line right here. So we're going to be looking inside right there. Oops. Our inside guy right here, one-on-one, okay, and then he sheds the blocker. Tries to get himself right in there for a little bit of the tackle. So again, we talk about this. He's got to take great steps right here. Inside power. Fitting up. He gets a little vision. Sheds this guy. I'd like to see him not be so lazy with his feet, right? We've got to keep our feet going through contact the whole time here. Again, another one-on-one. Now we lose. Okay? We've lost. I'm supposed to be in this gap right here. I'm lost backside. Now this is our disadvantage drill carryover. Our disadvantage drill carryover right here. So we're going to look at this little clip from practice. Okay? He's going to lose. He's going to be backside right here. He's going to lose. He's backside. He gets extension. And now he's working where he crosses over. And he's able to get back into his gap. He sheds the blocker, but what allows him to do that is he's in this disadvantage drill. He's extending, he's running his feet right here. He's got his hands on, he's attacking half man. He's doing a good job. He can play both gaps. He sheds the offender, and we come off right here and we do a good job of making that play. All right, now edge stuff. Okay? Running the heel lines. We'll see this guy, okay? Boom. We're attacking this double team. He extends. Now we're going to run through. That's the ball carrier and make this play. That's when the action's coming to me. You see that we talk about the running back. He's setting the edge. He's got an inside gap responsibility in our defense, right? So he's able to shed this blocker, run the heel lines front side with this play coming to him. Versus, so what we kind of showed, this is what I showed here in the opening spot, okay? This tackle's blocking out, Okay, same side. Running back starts on this side. Like I said, he's coming back, so this is an edge as well. We have to have edge presence right here to be able to shed the block and fold back into the pursuit scheme right here. And you see him, he's got a big inside leg, inside hand right here. It's from his takeoff position. Okay, so we'll get some clips here of this stuff. Okay, so right here, he's going to be running the heel lines. You see him shed the blocker, and we're right in right there. So again, he's doing a good job. We're taking steps up the field. Taking these steps up the field, I like to see him a little more powerful, but I'm not going to complain about a tackle right here at the line of scrimmage. Okay, it's a good job. Got to split that, play with our hands, rip up through a little bit, go and make those plays. Okay, over here, this is our guy. He's setting the edge. It's the same side deal. Okay, he's got to set this edge right here. Works his inside hand, and then I'd like to see him activate the outside arm to try to collapse and fold back in for pursuit into the run right here. Let's work our outside hand, but good job folding back in late into this deal. Okay, so we'll have to set the edge backside as well sometimes, and again, that's going to come out of when we get these teams that have 12 personnel right here. Here we go. We got a little look of it inside right here. This is shuffling now. Outside gap. Okay, we just looked at if this was a same side deal. If he's going to set the edge, now we're shuffling on run. Now we're shuffling on run right here. We want to see him pin that hip, and again, don't want to get the outside arm involved. We don't want to get this outside arm involved because we need to be able to change directions. There's some good quarterbacks in our conference that can run. We need to be able to push them to the sideline and let our help go help us make that play. We're not always going to be, at our level, we're not always going to have the fastest guys playing up front for us. So we've got to make sure that they understand how to play with leverage. You've got to change directions. Fortunately, he didn't have to do much changing directions right there. We don't need to watch the end of that play, okay? But we're looking at shuffling on the hip right here, okay? Shuffling on the hip. Okay, that's a lot of zone stuff. Whole lot of zone stuff, right? Zone read, inside zone, a little bit, obviously some outside zone concepts. Now we get polars. We're going to see polars. We're going to see power plays. We're going to see pin pull. We're going to see that stuff as well. Talk to our interior guys about fighting over the top. We're in a collision centers, try to fight over the top with our hands. If we're playing that 3 technique spot, we're going to try to get in the hip pocket, okay? Down blocks, killer for down blocks has got to be penetration. So if our DNs, we tell them, right, we'll put them in a 5 technique when there's a tight end out there. We have to know there's a big high potential for a down block from that tight end, right? Talking about moving gaps. Our gaps are always going to move. Once they move an offensive lineman from one side of the formation to another, they just added another gap, right? So we've got to get those kids to understand that your gap is always going to be moving right here. So we'll look inside. This is fighting over the top. This is where at this 2-eye position right here, his guy's going to pull. His guy's going to pull around. Okay, good steps. He collisions the center right here, plays with a good base, and he walks his hands. So what we're talking about, he's going to walk his hands right over the top, walk his hands over the top right here, and try to fold back in to this pursuit alley. Okay, you got to fight your way through all that traffic. But he does a good job fighting over the top right here. Shutting the center down. He's allowing the linebacker to see his puller a little bit quicker and fit and spill front side. Okay, now we got get into the hip pocket. This is again from that 2-eye position. He's just a little bit slower, or actually this guard's a lot faster off the ball right here. Oops, my fault. Okay, he's faster off the ball right here than the previous guy, so he's got to get into the hip pocket now. He's going to hip pocket this puller, go right into that gap. He's going to shoot this gap right here. Boom, boom. Okay? Obviously, we got to play at the heel lines and go make that play right there. Okay, so that's a look at how that guy's gone quickly. He's gone now. I'm getting right into that hip pocket of that puller and going to make a big old play right there. So I don't know why the center's doing what he's doing, but that's not my job. What do we got here? All right, so we've got on the edge now. On the edge now, we've got a little bit of some down block pullers right here, and this is actually better from the other view. But we're getting some down blocks, and this tackle is now coming to the outside. We've got to change directions right here, and I think this is better from this view. So we're looking at this guy right here. Okay, he's going to stretch this front out. He's going to DN. He's going to redirect with pullers right here. So I'll fire off the ball. Oh, shit, my guy's gone. Okay, I've done a good job. I get hands on him. I'm fighting over the top of this puller, and I'm elongating. We talk about elongating the front on the edge. Okay, so you're doing a good job. The big thing that's going to save your guys is playing with hands, right? We have to have active hands here. If we don't have good hands inside, we're going to allow the guys to get into our chest, and that's never good for, in this kid's case, a 200-pound defensive end, right? That's not beneficial for him. So that's a good job playing with speed. Yep, thank you. Good job playing with speed. And that's it. 5 minutes, boom, crushed it. All right, I know that was real quick, a lot of stuff in there. If you have any questions, please feel free. I got my card here. I don't have a contact info slide, but I got my card if you want to ask me any questions about this. Like I said, I don't own any of this information. This is stuff that I've taken from talks like this, going to different places, just listening on podcasts, on Twitter, and places like that, just to get things and try to incorporate, because it's all about getting our kids to understand what you want them to accomplish at the end of the day. All right, so thank you for having me here, and enjoy the rest of your day.